Prime Minister of Biafran government in exile, Simon Ekpa, who is an agitator, who is a liberator, and of course, under the law, the United Nations law of Women's Charter of Fundamental Rights of the People. Of course, he is covered being an agitator who said, no, we want a separate state where we can manage our resources and, of course, develop at our own pace. How comes that he make that list of course, by the Nigerian state as the ones causing unrest in the state?
Um, Thank you for having me, Chigoze. As Nigeria stands today, the states that consist the Biafran region, as selfly acclaimed by the separatists called Simon Ekpa, is still within the constituent called Nigeria. Nigeria has every right to lay claims to that to those states because those states are still being fed by the federal and they are still being protected by the Nigerian police force. Now, Simon Ekpa, yes, started as a separatist, a peaceful one to say. However, in the recent times, we have seen Simon Ekpa take responsibility for heinous crime, for heinous attack against national assets. Just recently, we saw him laying claim to the vandalization of, the oil pipelines in Imo State, in Abia State, and these are acts of terror. And I don't think the DHQ was wrong to label him as a terrorist because he himself mentioned that he is responsible. He and the BLA, they call them the Biafran Liberation Army, destroy those national assets. Now, the question is, should the federal government not say things as they are? However, the crime of Simon Ekpa is not as terrible as the likes of Bello Turuji, the northern bandits, who go all out there to kidnap 5,000 people in less than 9 months. Nigeria as a whole must understand that there are some who are critical threats, while those in the southeast, all they clamor for is good governance. The reason why we had an agitation why we're having an outbreak, as it were, today in Nigeria is because we've had a series of failed governments, especially in the southeast, most especially, and the southeasterners are well educated, so they understand that this is what is obtainable, and they want to be a part of the system. However, politically they might be naive, but I'm to say, however, they believe they have every sense to be a part of that system. In fact, they deserve to be the president. If you ask me, do they deserve to be a president? I say yes. But have they fought for it the right way recently? Perhaps they have not built enough alliances. So, a Simon Ekpa agitating, I will implore Simon Ekpa to stop causing crisis, chaos, destruction in the southeast, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the supreme leader of the Biafra family, has said that anybody using the Biafran name to commit atrocity is against the Biafran people. Because the Biafran have four ideologies. Number one is never to be scared, never to be afraid in front of an enemy. Number two is saying the truth, doesn't matter if you are killed. Number three is to help the poor. While number four is to protect the Biafran people. Now, is Simon Ekpa doing that?
You're becoming a student of Mazem Namde Kano just lately. I'm surprised you are memorizing all this.
Let me tell you.
Could it be for some reasons best known to you?
Let me tell
Or you are falling in love with the Biafran struggle?
You see, Biafra is never a wrong, let me call it, concept. But it became wrong when they started seeking for violence. I have always said it that Biafra should be the patron of Southeast Development Council, whereby a Simon Ekpa will call all the governors, just like what we have in the Northeast, what we have in the Southwest. Simon Ekpa has the clout to question all the governors that this is a roadmap we want, give us a roadmap, because he should conscientize the people. There is a very famous guy, he's a Bitcoin billionaire in dollars. I can't recall his name now. Right now, today, he's building what we call economic Biafra. He sends millions of naira to the Southeast. This is to tell you how much I follow Southeast. You know, I told you that if we ever get to a level whereby Biafra happens, I will come and collect passport to Biafra.
Yes, you told me that, but that will be a subject of
No, wait.
discourse.
That doesn't mean
If Biafran's government will allow people like
I
you.
am not. Well, if they don't allow me, no issues. I can decide to have 2 or 3 passports. I mean, there are so many Nigerians today who own Ghana passport, Benin passport, American passport. That doesn't make me lesser Nigeria. I am only telling you how peace loving and how harmonious a person I am. If Biafra change this concept of terror and they go through it through economic way whereby they become so viable, let me tell you today, if Biafra becomes so viable whereby they become the most industrialized, when it comes to engineering, they are the one leading, they are making their cars, making their phones, right from raw material finish. Let me tell you, Biafra will tell the Nigerian federal government, we don't need your federal location anymore. And then you see Nigerian would begin to beg them. Yes, they've not gotten to that level. There is no region that has gotten to that level. Right? During the regional system of governance, the reason why Western region was so respectable because they were very viable and they were the most successful. So it is a situation whereby the most successful person speaks in a family gathering, everybody will respect such person. So that is what I want in Nnamdi Kanu. Man Simon Ekpa has been claiming, he has been saying he is responsible for destruction, so he has to be labeled as a terrorist.
But what he's fighting for is self-defense. In the cause of self-determination, self-defense is protected, enshrined in the United Nations Charter. So do you consider that as a terror when they are fighting to defend themselves? They are no longer interested in the treaty or in the unity or in the marriage called Nigeria. So will you force it on them by use of coercion?
Mr. Chigoze, in all sincerity, what is self-defense has to do with pipeline destruction. You and I know that Biafran Liberation Army have been bombing the Nigerian pipeline. What does that have to do with self-defense?
They said that belongs to them, is within their territory, and they have the absolute right to control their resources within their, of course, territory.
Constitutionally, it doesn't belong to them. Constitutionally,
By who constitution? They said they have a government, have established a government in exile, which is operational and as such should be enforced. That is their position, according to Mazi Simon.
that is the reason why they are against the Nigerian Republic. And the Nigerian Republic has to take them as an enemy. And that is why they are seen and labeled and treated like enemies of the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Welcome.
for wonderful submissions.